Hey, I'm Noah.
Hey, I'm Tim.
And this is our ongoing comic strip AP of Dogs in the Vineyard.
All right, so I am in the GM seat, which means we're hearing about Terrence Witt.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to see Terrence go back to Bridal Falls. We know that's where the dogs come from. Sounds like we're going to do an initiation rite.
Yeah, we're going to do something similar to what we did with Clementine. We're going to do Terrence Witt's initiation.
So where are we, like, season-wise, both in the calendar sense and the arc of the whole story here?
Yeah, so we're most of the way through spring, I would say, which means we're about halfway done with this story, this podcast.
Sweet. All right. Want to see what's going on with Terrence?
Let's do it.
Cool.
The letter was waiting a few towns away, and its message was brief. You've done right by the King of Life, son. Come back for a spell. There's no signature or address on it, but I could recognize my father's handwriting. Been riding a couple days on my horse Rio. It's a cool spring morning, and I'm descending one of the four brides, one of the waterfalls that overlooks Bridal City Falls. My name is Terrence Witt, and I'm a dog.
So your father is here, Elder William Witt.
Yeah.
I talked about him before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you are what generation dog?
I'm the third generation dog. Since all my brothers are dogs also, this life was kind of forced on me. Being able to get out from under the thumb of my family was probably exciting for me.
So let's follow you on into the city. Not much more needs to be said than austere, gray temple and compounds. I mean, it's a city with a purpose. Train young dogs and preserve the order. And I imagine the elder has his own quarters, probably attached to the compound where young dogs go through their own rites. Probably a private dining area.
I think he's a bigwig.
Yeah.
Here, he has a lot of clout.
Well, so it's evening time right around now. So it's a crisp spring evening as you roll on in. You know to find him in his dining chambers.
First off, I think I take my time.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I don't necessarily go there right away. I meander through the city. I definitely take time to put Rio up and, brush him and all that, which probably shows I'm a little nervous about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've run out of things to do, kind of. It's like, well, I got to face this at some point.
Yeah.
So I think there's a bit of nervousness as I push open these doors.
So your father's seated at his table. There's a plate and food. Just as you remember, not a day older. Stern blue eyes and gray hair showing every scar that he's been through to get to where he is. It's real salt of the earth man who's built himself up and held down the order in his 50, 60 years on this earth. And when he sees you, he appraises you coolly. Son?
Father? I nod.
Grab a seat over here. I'll have a young dog bring over another plate and we'll sit and dine.
Well, I am awfully hungry.
A real green-thumbed dog comes in. Her coat looks like it hasn't even seen a harsh breeze before. And she's quick to bring in another set of plates and silverware and whatnot. So it's a salty pink beef and some boiled greens that you'd pick out in the forest this time of year in the spring. And he asks you to say the prayer over this food.
So, I bow my head. Blessed be the King of Life for providing us this great food, this great place and land where we can raise our own and pursue our religion without persecution.
Amen to that. And begins eating, and between mouthfuls has a pretty casual conversation with you.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're on fairly good terms.
Yeah. He mentions details from most of the towns that you've been. Seems to already know what you've done.
Okay.
Doesn't have anything bad to say about it. Evil plagues this land, as you know, having roamed about and seeing the dark hearts of many people. Do you agree?
Well, I just think most people, they mean well, and they just get a little off the path.
Most faithful mean well, yes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what's all this I hear about the territorial authority trying to move in on yours and mine's land here. What say you to the threat of the faithless, of the godless bureaucrats who would come to sully our soil?
Well, they got no place in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how aware you are of my most recent visit to Eden, but I fear we have a snake in our midst.
Mm-hmm. And what do you do to a snake? Cut off its head and you strike down anything else that slithers. You got a right mind, son, and let me take a moment to contrast that with your brother, whom I have also heard reports about how he has strayed even further from the path.
Oh, yeah, I heard. In fact, I ran into him. Well, I was hoping he came back here.
I haven't seen that no good brother of yours in a while, and I hope you sent him off with a bullet in the behind if he kept up with the acts in which I've been hearing he's doing.
Well, no, sir, I did not shoot him.
They say you're supposed to be a softus on family, right? You're supposed to look the other way when they do wrong. You don't spoil family. You show them the barrel of a gun. So it wasn't much more than a year ago, back in this compound where you were training to become a dog, and it was that night before your initiation. It'd been a night of celebration, knowing the goodness that was to come when you receive your cloak. In fact, your brother Franklin, who was already a dog by then, came to visit to see his little brother off. So he'd been around this last day, and after a night of some merriment, you're in bed. And who bursts open through the door then? Elder William Witt, your father. He looks angry, and he's shouting, "Where's that brother of yours?" And he explains that he heard from some of the younger dogs that Franklin was acting mighty spiritualist the way he was telling some of these youths what he had seen, that the king of life is within all of us, that it's in the land itself, that only we know what's right and wrong. And your father's mighty angry at that, and he had his gun with him, and he said, "King, help me, I'm going to shoot that boy."
What's at stake is, will I save my brother?
This time that boy's gone too far, and I have to teach him a lesson, son.
And so I wake up, and my dad's got his gun. What? Which brother? Kind of sleepily. You mean Daniel? I haven't seen him.
Terrence, I know you may look it, but don't play dumb right now. Now, I don't care if I need to drag you by the ear down every hall of this compound. I know you've been with Franklin, and I know that he is up to something very hateful, very corrupt. So you will take me to him.
Sorry, sir. I think he's camping out in the North Canyon. Let me get my boots and I'll take you to him. And I go and sit on my bed, and I grab my boots real quick. I jump out the window.
He doesn't make a move. It was pretty obvious what you were doing, and he even crosses his arm for a moment. And as soon as you're clear out the window, he takes a shot right behind your boots, and you feel the mud splatter on the back of your leg.
I know where Franklin likes to camp. I know that he doesn't like to stay in the compound. He prefers the stars over his head. So I run straight to his camp, and he's there by himself. Looks like he's just whittling. I come bursting into his campfire, and Franklin, Father's coming. He's got it out fierce for you.
Franklin yawns sleepily. Brother, someday you'll see. When you're your own man, you don't have to worry about Daddy anymore now. Just come lay out here in the wild with me. We don't got anything to worry about. And he puts his arms behind his head and nestles in against that oak tree.
I just kick dirt into his face, pull him upright, and shove him and go, "Run!"
Yeah, he'd go running at that, yeah.
And at that same moment, our father, William Witt, bursts in with his gun, probably takes a shot at the retreating Franklin. And yeah, I've probably never been beaten so hard in my life. You see me getting my cloak the next day, and I've got bruises.
Mm-hmm. Covered in those bruises.
Yeah.
And you see your father watching you from the crowd, those stern blue eyes, remembering every moment of what he had to do that night. And right now, back in the compound over a year later. The same stern blue eyes staring at you now. I'm sure he remembers.
Yeah, we both do.
Yeah.
Small goddamn city of Gun Falls.
Oh, shit. Okay, don't lean back. Wow. That was a thing that happened.
Did it crack? In a different chair?
It sounded like it did, but
All
this has been a rough go.
Hi, this is Jason from the Gauntlet Gaming Community. If you enjoyed this episode of Comic Strip AP, please consider supporting the Gauntlet on Patreon. Our page can be found at patreon.com/gauntlet.